Tomboy, written by Susanna Thompson, narrated by Sarah Sampino. Chapter 2. Wait, rewind. Kyle interrupted my story about Jake trying to order me around last night. He told you that you're hot? I shrugged. I guess, but the point is that he's trying to tell me what to do in my own house. No, Cam. The point is that he thinks you're hot. How can you be so blasé about that? I popped another potato chip into my mouth. I don't care what he thinks. I'll walk around here any way I damn well please. Kyle's dirty mind was in direct contrast to his innocent-looking face. He looked positively angelic with his clear blue eyes and blonde hair. I second that. Next time, accidentally drop your towel and bend over to pick it up. Kyle! I protested with a laugh. Sorry, but I'll never have him, so I have to live vicariously through you. I became distracted by the porno movie we were watching on my computer. It had, of course, been Kyle's idea. We were stuffing our faces with potato chips and critiquing the performances. It had some kind of flimsy plot about a model who got into all kinds of erotic situations. To Kyle's delight, she had a ridiculous line that she kept using. It seemed to be her catchphrase, and we were keeping track of the number of times she said it. Oh, look at that. She's getting onto the bed with her high heels on, I commented. You know they're going to snag on the sheets. I don't hear him complaining. He smiled at me. That's probably the most girly thing I've ever heard you say. There's no reason to ruin perfectly good sheets. Do all girls shave their privates like that? I crunched on more potato chips. How should I know? Kyle asked. Oh, right, I said. Well, it's bad enough with having to shave our legs and underarms. Guys are lucky in that department. At least you can cover those parts up if you don't feel like shaving. We have to take care of our faces every day. He looked at me curiously. Is any of this stuff turning you on? Not really. It's basically all body parts. Real movies are sexier because the characters are exciting. He had hit upon something that was troubling me. I heard some girls at school talking about me. They think I'm gay. Those bitches, he said in mock outrage. The thing is, maybe I am. I mean, since I haven't been attracted to anyone, it's a possibility, right? I spoke seriously because I really wanted answers from him. You're attracted to Brad Pitt, remember? You said he's hot after we watched World War Z. Plus, you've had crushes on other actors too. You've never said anything about having a crush on an actress. I thought about it. That's true, but maybe that's just social conditioning. Another idea occurred to me. Or maybe I'm asexual. No, you're not. He immediately shot down that line of thinking. You're just a late bloomer. I poked him in the chest. You just don't want to give up on me hooking up with Jake. Somebody's got to live the dream, he said solemnly. Pervert, I laughed. Then I batted my eyelashes at him. Could you please go get me some more juice? Oh, I finished the last of it? He cringed in preparation for my reaction. You drank all my juice? I whined. I thought you were my friend. Shush and watch the movie. I'm trying to corrupt you. Or distract me from what you did. I pretended to be put out. He stuffed his mouth full of chips so he wouldn't have to answer. I rolled my eyes and turned back to the screen. The adult actors were getting pretty loud as they went at it. Suddenly, we heard someone fling open my bedroom door and turned to see Jake storm in, followed by Connor. Jake stopped short when he saw us. What happened? I mumbled through a mouthful of chips. Want some? Kyle's mouth was also full of chips as he held out the bag toward Jake and my brother. See, I told you she wasn't having sex, Connor said. Jake walked over to see what we were watching. Kyle again offered him some chips, but he declined. Connor grabbed a handful and began munching on them. "We're out of orange juice," I said. "She had 2 glasses," Kyle hurried to tell Connor. "He had 3 glasses." I stuck my tongue out at Kyle. "What happened to your leg?" Jake asked me. "Skateboarding accident. Kyle took care of it," I added grudgingly. "Now you remember my good deeds. Shouldn't your hero get unlimited juice?" "Hero?" I sniffed. "Ha! You bandaged a scrape." "You should have heard her scream like a girl when I put disinfectant on it," Kyle confided to them. I gave him the evil eye. "I did not." "I had to promise her porn to get her to hold still," he said, lying outrageously. Of course, she wouldn't get hurt if she didn't try to keep up with Jason. Jason was the best skateboarder in our group. He was cool about it, but my competitive nature sometimes made me try to top him. It wasn't the first time I'd gotten hurt trying to outdo him. "You're lucky you didn't break your arm like last time," Connor chided me. It was Jake, however, that looked displeased with me. "How do you want me?" The actress in the porno said her line again. 5! Kyle and I cried out in unison and high-fived each other. Jake looked from me to Kyle and shook his head. "At least you can't get hurt watching porno movies." Actually, one time, Kyle began some ridiculous tall tale before I kicked him with my good leg. "I don't even want to know," Connor said as he started to leave the room. Jake glanced back at me one last time before he walked out, shutting the door behind him. Kyle waited until he thought they were gone. "Did you see how he came charging in here when he thought you were having sex? And then he was all concerned about your leg? He's got it bad for you, Cam. Will you give it up already? I'm not hooking up with him just to make you happy." I clicked the porno movie off. "Hey, I was watching that," he protested. "No, you were just about to drive me to the store for more juice." I started shutting down my computer. "You could have sex with Jake, but all you can think about is juice," Kyle grumbled. Nothing changed until about a month later, when Kyle and his boyfriend broke up. He took it very hard, and, after days of moping and even missing a day of school, I decided that he needed me there and told him that I was sleeping over. Mom wouldn't even know that I was gone, because she was working until early morning and wouldn't be up until later in the day. I would be home by then. Connor and I always covered for each other, no questions asked. It was a Friday night, so I didn't have to get up for school. Despite all my efforts, Kyle remained inconsolable. I had never seen him this way, and I realized that his feelings for his boyfriend ran much deeper than he had ever let on. Here was more proof to me that romantic relationships always ended in heartbreak. Only 2 hours into our evening, he got a phone call from his ex-boyfriend, who wanted to talk to him in person. "I'm sorry, Cam," Kyle apologized, but he looked more hopeful than I had seen him since his breakup. "I can drop you off at home on the way to his house." "I understand. Absolutely. Go and talk to him. I hope you guys work it out." I gave him a hug. "Thanks, Cam. You're the best." He hugged me back with all the unspoken affection that was between us. Kyle drove me home and promised to call me tomorrow. I noted that Jake's car was parked in our driveway as well as Connor's. This surprised me, since my brother had mentioned having a date tonight. Nobody was in the living room when I entered the house. I decided to take my shower first and then relax on the couch watching TV. The first thing I noticed when I went upstairs is that the door to my room was closed, but I had left it open when I left. Then I heard noises coming from behind the closed door. I marched over to it to give them a piece of my mind for using my computer to watch porno movies when Connor had his own computer. I threw open the door and stormed in, only to stop dead in my tracks at the shocking sight before me. At my entrance, the girl screeched, while Jake reared up off of her and approached me. In those interminable first couple of minutes, my eyes didn't know where to look. All I could see was flesh. Jake stood at least 6 feet tall, and there were no clothes to break up my view of his seemingly endless expanse of flesh. I paid scant attention to the mortified girl and directed my anger squarely where it belonged. You. In my room, I sputtered. On my bed? His attitude only intensified my rage. He made no apology or explanation, and he didn't even look embarrassed about being caught having sex in my room. I tried to punch him, but he anticipated my move with apparently lightning-fast reflexes as he grabbed my arm before my fist could connect with his face. After all, he had been the one who taught me how to throw a punch after I insisted on getting a punching bag. He had watched my feeble attempts for a while before he stepped in to show me the proper form. That had been 2 years ago. Now he seemed to completely have forgotten about the other girl in the room, as his gaze locked with mine. His blue eyes were darker than usual, and the way he was looking at me made me understand what they meant by the word smoldering. Let go of me, I hissed. As soon as he did, I spun around and sprinted out of the room and down the hall to Connor's room. I ignored Jake shouting my name as I flung open the door. Thankfully, the girl was on top this time, and I was spared getting an eyeful of my brother. I screamed in rage and slammed the door shut. Jake was standing there when I turned around. He was still very much naked. Even worse, he was laughing at me. Ow! Jake cried after I kicked him in the shin. Get out of my house! I yelled. He followed me back to my room. At least the girl had enough sense to have made herself scarce. How dare you? This is my room, my bed. I thought you were sleeping over Kyle's house, he said as he put on his underwear. So that makes it okay? You're so gross. Were you even going to change the sheets? These are my sheets. Yours are over there. He pointed to my desk. You wouldn't have even known the difference. How thoughtful of you, I said sarcastically. Then I had a horrible thought. How many times have you had sex on my bed? Well, I was planning on at least 3 times tonight, but I didn't even get to finish once. He stripped his sheets off my bed and made a move to grab my sheets. Don't touch them. I ran to the bathroom and came back with a can of Lysol. You never answered my question, I said as I sprayed my mattress. Don't you think you're going overboard? How many people do you think have had sex in the same bed you sleep in when you go to a hotel? I suddenly had an entirely different view of past vacations out of town. Stop trying to change the subject. How many times have you used my bed for sex? I'll tell you what. I promise not to have sex in your bed anymore until it's with you. He pulled on his pants. If you think I'll ever let you touch me, you're crazy. If it were up to me, you'd never set foot in this house again. I'm warning you to stay the hell out of my way. Don't ever come near me or my room again. I hate you. I was trembling with rage by the time I finished my rant against him. He was infuriatingly calm as he put on his shirt. We'll see about that, Cam. Good night. I slammed the door after him. Connor, I knew, wouldn't dare face me until the next day. Jake was wrong if he thought this was just going to blow over. As far as I was concerned, he was now my enemy.